I discovered that my sister 24F had been in secret sleeping with my now ex-boyfriend 25M for at least a year, probably more. We'd been dating for 3 years, and while my sister and he had always been close, I assumed it was simply friendly. My sister enjoys video games, which my ex also does, so they would talk a lot. I imagined it was only about games, but I ultimately discovered the truth. It turned out that they were frequently planning covert dates while I was preoccupied with study and work. I discovered images, videos, and other disturbing evidence in their talks. My sister, sad as she is, would frequently ask my ex if she was smarter or prettier than me. She even compared our bodies, which is ridiculous. We are both attractive. She is smaller and possibly more classically beautiful, but despite her introversion, she has always had her own circle of friends. Our parents never compared us, so I'm not sure why she felt such hostility toward me. And the worst part? My sister was the one who repeatedly encouraged my ex to compare us in those communications. After learning the truth, I immediately removed all of my ex's things from my apartment. I insulted him in every manner imaginable while keeping the gaming PC I had given him as a present. I didn't speak with my sister for nearly a week, and she didn't seek out either. She finally messaged me yesterday, attempting to justify her behavior by calling it a mistake. Mistake that lasted over a year and urging me to forgive her since we are sisters. For a moment, I thought about being the mature one and not allowing resentment to take hold. But then I realized that's not who I am, and she certainly doesn't deserve it from me. So I sent her a lengthy note, expressing everything I needed to say. I don't say it here. It's too intimate and personal. I made sure she understood how much she had always hated me and what a failure she was. She needed to know, even for a brief moment, what it was like to be me in her terrible, awful life. She sent me a voicemail crying, claiming she's in a bad mental state but still with him laughable, and that I shouldn't make her feel worse. She claimed to regret everything, but I ignored her sob story. I only responded with an emoji and did not read the entire message. Was I being unfair by pointing out all of her flaws? Maybe. But betraying your sister and expecting forgiveness just because we share blood? That's far worse. Honestly, I felt fantastic after sending her that message. It was therapeutic to let it all out and find some closure. By the way, I've never played video games, but I'm currently on YouTube searching up how to get The Sims. I used to be there for my sister at her lowest points in life. I stood up for her when she was bullied in high school, helped her make friends, and accompanied her everywhere. This betrayal has struck me deeply, and I will never forgive her. It's not just that she slept with someone I adored. It's also that she took joy in asking him to compare us and criticize my personal life. She is dead to me, and my parents are aware of this. I don't care if it makes me a bad person like them. This is something I can't forgive, and I don't even feel horrible about my reaction. To clarify, my parents were shocked and outraged when I told them. They comforted me before I went, but I'm not sure what they said to my sister afterward. I don't want to inquire either. She's still trying to play the victim, talking about how weak she feels psychologically and her anxiety attacks. But I couldn't even finish her voice message because it was nearly 4 minutes long, which irritated me even more. She never explained why she spoke such nasty things about me. It was all about her worry. I had a great crush on Leon Kennedy, and he would never cheat on me. As a sign of appreciation, I understand how fulfilling it is if I reveal all the details. I'll submit half of the message I sent to my sister. The original note was lengthy, and I've removed the more private bits and insults because I was deeply wounded and outraged when I wrote it. It was full of personal details that I don't feel comfortable publishing here. Here's a little of what I emailed her. I am not interested in hearing your justifications. I absolutely trusted you, especially after your falling out with your old friend group, since I knew you'd never do something like this. Now I see why everyone leaves you, and you deserve it. What you did to me was inexcusable, and you knew it, but you didn't care. You spent a year being my ex's sidekick with no shame. And after I found out, you didn't even try to contact me for several days since you're a coward. Now, the only reason you're reaching out is that Dad isn't speaking to you and you're running out of money. You were always selfish, but truly, being my boyfriend's other woman, how little self-respect do you have? We are meant to be sisters. I don't know what's going on in your head, but it's obvious you're sick. I read every message, including the ones where you started comparing our bodies. I have done nothing to deserve this from you. I adored you, but I guess things worked out in the end because he's now with you. Enjoy your time with him while it lasts, because you'll soon be alone in your little cave, and I won't be there to pity you like I used to. Stay with him. I don't care about fighting for a guy who will eventually abandon you. But let me make this clear. You will not hear from me again. This is over. We're not sisters anymore. If I see you on the street, I will cross to the opposite side to avoid you. May 17th, 2024. It's not surprising that they ended their relationship. After everything had happened, my parents punished my sister, who was offended. She stopped talking with them except to ask for money. She said it was for her job, but my aunt informed my parents that she used the money to buy my ex some sneakers. From that point forward, my parents cut her off financially. To be honest, she is a complete idiot. My parents had paid for us to attend a private college, so all we had to do was concentrate on our studies. The only obligation she had was to pursue her studies seriously, and she couldn't even do that. My father eventually became tired and stopped sending her money months ago. My ex heard about our disconnecting. He apologized, admitting he harmed me, but claiming my sister misled him and it was a mistake. I told him where he could shove his apology. Since then, my sister and I have only crossed paths a few times, but she always avoids me because she believes I will hit her. I will not. We aren't in the same program, so we don't see each other very often, which is a comfort. She showed up at our parents' house a few days ago, claiming to have broken up with my ex and was having an anxiety attack. I wasn't present, but my mother subsequently informed me they argued again. My mother told her that she knew the implications of sleeping with him. My sister, of course, attempted to excuse herself by stating they were in love. They argued, and my sister departed, avoiding everyone in the family except our grandmother, whom she mainly contacts to ask for money. I know she hasn't learned anything from this, and I'm very sure she'd go back to my ex because they're toxic together. But it is her life to wreck, not mine. I have stopped caring. On the positive side, I sold the PC to a Reddit user who noticed my article, saving me from having to continue paying the installments. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend much time playing The Sims, but the extra money was worthwhile. My ex had the audacity to ask for the PC back, but I informed him that if he wanted it, he could pay off the outstanding balance. He declined, so the fool expected the PC for free, after everything he'd done. I realize this is probably boring to mention that my sister begged for forgiveness, and that my ex is in pain. But no, nothing so dramatic. They are simply two idiots who deserve each other, and that is all there is to it. As for maybe I'll forgive them? Absolutely not. I can spend my life without forgiving them, but I never want my sister to forget what she did. I do not want to see her again. In a few years, I'll laugh at these two fools, but that doesn't mean they deserve my forgiveness. August 10th, 2024. A few things have changed. First and foremost, approximately a month ago, my sister called me from a different number. This was the first time we had spoken again. She made an issue out of it, accusing me of telling our story without changing any of our ages or facts, making it simple for her buddy to figure out it was about her, especially because I didn't hide my nationality. I told her I did not care. She labeled me a piece of trash and claimed I depicted her as the villain, but I honestly don't have any regrets. Nobody here knows who she is, and I am the one who appears foolish in this circumstance. She kept urging me to delete all, but I told her it made no sense because they were already everywhere, so I blocked that number as well. Several weeks later, I learned via mutual contacts that she and my ex were no longer together. Apparently, they cheat on each other all the time, or perhaps they have an open relationship today. They are frequently seen with other people at nightclubs. I'm not very interested in their mess, so I avoid going to the same clubs as them, which is not difficult because my sister never went out to clubs. She's now showing up at the places I used to frequent while constantly rejecting me for going there. They are not currently dating, and my ex has been seeking excuses to visit me, such as attempting to return some clothes I allegedly left at his house, which I do not need. I wasn't interested in getting them back, But one day, he showed up unexpectedly at my flat with the clothes. I had no choice but to let him in to drop them off. And no, we did not sleep together. Just kidding. I should really speak with the building manager to make sure he doesn't come up to my door like that again. The entire visit was really awkward since he kept reminding me that he was no longer with my sister and calling me a great woman. I told him I already knew I was excellent and I didn't want to hear about his problems with my sister. I do enjoy some gossip, so I politely requested him to leave. He even attempted to kiss me on the cheek before leaving. Yikes. Meanwhile, my parents have no idea what to do with my sister. She quit attending college entirely, despite the fact that she never made much of an attempt. They're tired of spending money on her schooling with no results. They've informed her that if she keeps doing this, they'll stop paying for her university. But according to my mother, my sister doesn't seem to care. She is convinced that my parents would ultimately give in and start paying her desires again. To be honest, I just hope she doesn't become pregnant and use it to blackmail them into supporting her. But that's something I'm frightened about. As for me, I'm feeling considerably better overall, with the exception that I no longer frequent my favorite club. Emotionally, I've reached a point where their drama feels distant to me, as if I'm simply watching two clowns in a circus.